So we established non-negotiables, right? And and we told them what they were. You know, how cool is that? We actually tell people what the specific expectations are for each category of non-negotiable. And yet, someone still doesn't do it. Something still isn't done quite correctly, or is done that shouldn't be done. So we have someone who's outside of our expectations. What do we do? Well, I'll tell you what we do. It's called harnessing harmful behavior. Now, the behavior itself, the either behavior or action or inaction that took them outside our non-negotiable is what's at issue here. That's the harmful behavior. We need to harness that. We need to grab hold of it and help someone get past it. We're going to have a conversation with them. Now, the first part of the conversation you've had for 15 years or more, you know, so you know how to do that part. It's when we tell them, here are the expectations, here's what you did. There's a gap. I don't want this gap. We need to close this gap. So that's the easy part. You did something you shouldn't have done, or you didn't do what you should have done. That's the easy part. The new part I want you to think about is after we do that, we're going to elicit a promise to improve. Elicit a commitment, if you will, to improve from the employee with whom we're having the conversation. Now, folks, this is key. This is a big deal. This is probably one of the biggest foot stompers that we cover throughout this stuff, because this is different. This is not typical stuff that you've seen and read before. It's different, and I'll tell you why. Typically, someone didn't do what they're supposed to do. The typical leader chews their butt. It's what we do, right? Do what you say you're going to do, or I'm going to jump both feet into your rear end. I'm going to chew you out. Well, okay. Now, if I come back 3 weeks from now and you still haven't done it, what am I going to do? Assuming I'm not going to fire you. I'm going to chew your butt again. And you're going to hang your head. Okay, all right, you're right, boss, I didn't do it. But it's still not done. And I still don't have a big stake in it because frankly, you know, I didn't really do anything major. You're the one who's getting all excited. You keep chewing my butt. Now, if I elicit a commitment to improve, if I say, okay, Frank, you knew you weren't supposed to do that, right? Right. You knew our start time was at 9 o'clock, right? Right. Great. And you showed up at 9:30, right? Right. Frank, I got to know, bud. I mean, before we can really go forward, I need to hear it from you. What are we going to do about this? What are we going to do? What are you going to tell me? That's right. You're going to tell me something like, I won't do it again, right? And you're going to tell me that, and people say, well, what if they don't? Well, they will. They want out of the conversation as much as you do. So they will. They will. Frank will tell me, you know, yes, I'll commit to not doing it anymore. I won't do it again. I'll be on time. And I'll say, great, thank you very much. Conversation over. You know, let's go get a cup of coffee. Now 3 weeks pass. Frank comes in late again. Yeah, Frank comes in late again. What do we do? Well, I sit down with Frank again. I remind Frank of the performance expectation. I remind him of his lack of attaining that performance expectation. Frank, you're late again. And you know what I say then? Instead of just chewing his butt, I say, Frank, kind of surprised. Last time we met, you promised me, you personally promised me you wouldn't do this again. What happened? Now, what have I done? I brought Frank into the game. Frank's got skin in the game now. I have called Frank's personal integrity into question because he promised me, and I'm calling him on that promise. It's not me just chewing his butt. I'm bringing his personal integrity into question because he told me it wouldn't happen again, and it has. Frank's squirming a little bit more in his chair, both literally and in my story. He's squirming a little bit more in his chair. That's as it should be. It ought to be uncomfortable when you don't meet performance expectations. We need to do a better job of making it uncomfortable when employees don't meet performance expectations. So harnessing harmful behavior, I'm going to have the conversation, and at the end of that conversation, I'm going to elicit a commitment to improve. That's the different part. That's the part that really makes a difference in succeeding.